Hello there, people of the internet. Even though Aswani, my friend, does not like that term, people of the internet, but that's what we are. All this is White Online. So, I had a conversation with a divorce lawyer. Her name is Muthoni, Christine, and she talked about things that some of us have never heard of, and it is one of the videos that has got a lot of spike on my new YouTube channel. So, today I'm going to be following that trajectory and talk with a very interesting lady again. Her name is Felgonah Oyuga. Felgonah Oyuga believes that the reason why we are having a lot of divorces in Kenya is because we have taken polygamy out of the picture, which is very interesting. And, some of the things that she has told me off camera as a man are very exciting. The only problem is that executing them is going to be very difficult in this day and age. I have one wife and a daughter who is turning 8 in January. And the idea of introducing another wife, not a concubine, a wife, so she says that, and I want to read some of the things but the way, before I read that, I want to welcome you to for Take Two.
Thank you.
And we are going to be talking about there is something that you wrote that I am very, very interested in, and I want to read some bits and pieces about it. Stan, I hope that everything is going all right.
Yes, we are right.
We're not going to have our other hiccups. Right. So this is what I just want to click it very fast and read it. It says that monogamy presents, Felgonah, many problems apart from the fact that it is widely believed not to be a natural state for men and women. And you say, and you put a full stop there, and then say, monogamy is the cause of divorce. Full stop. As somebody who knows about grammar and writing, you say that full stop, and then you start a new sentence, and then say, monogamy is the cause of divorce. Full stop. She says, Aswani, that our pursuit of faithfulness in this unnatural state is the leading cause of this crisis. We'll get to the meat of it. She says that we were lured into monogamy with toxic taglines that were and are consistently fed to us in church, in popular music, in books, and in the movies. Mine forever, only you, only me, together forever and never to part. One man, one woman, from the rib of Adam. God hates divorce. You are my heart. If you leave me, I will die. So, what happens, according to you, Felgonah, is that we get into a union and try to blackmail, trick, manipulate, bewitch a fellow adult, and I like the word adult, into thinking they do not need any other human interaction. We will be their everything. Both scenarios are impossible and only serve to drive us mad. I want us to go to your Eureka moment when you realized that this is not working for the African man. Monogamy is not working for the African man, and so there is a crisis. When did you have this Eureka moment? Do you remember? Can you trace your Eureka moment?
I don't think there was one moment.
Yeah.
I think it's just been a series of realizations from my own experience, and then also from other experiences, and then just delving into the whole concept, the whole system of monogamy and what it served in the African society. So it started off with myself, I think. Although growing up, I always thought I'd not get married. If I did, I thought I'd get married as a second or a third wife. That was my whole idea. Then I got into a marriage.
Say that again. Say that again. Say that again. Say that again.
I always did. I wrote an article and said if I came back, I'd get married as a fifth wife even, and everybody was up in arms. But I think it's easier. I don't know that to say the lower down you are or the farther away you are
from the man.
From the man. As in the first wife, there's a lot of pressure. because you are really trying to keep that marriage. You feel like it's a failure if something goes wrong. So you put a lot of pressure on yourself and a lot of pressure on the man. And especially if you believe that you're supposed to be monogamous and you believe in the me and you forever and ever. I have a problem with forever and ever because sometimes forever is 2 days, 3 days. So what happens? Yeah. Do you continue forcing the issues? So you'll find that because I want to be with this man and only him, and I only want him to be with me, the minute I find out there's somebody else, that's how we're going to lose that marriage, because I become impossible to live with. And then, of course, usually these days we are in the place where we are all, I don't need this man, I don't need you. If you have another wife, I'm gone. And usually having another woman might not necessarily be a problem. That's what we're saying. So if many women would stay happily in their marriages if they accepted polygamy. That's not to say that stay when there's violence. You have to separate issues, because people start getting excited. What if the man is violent? That's a different story. I'm saying if you find there is another wife, don't go anywhere. Stay, because I don't know what you're coming to look for outside here. There's nothing.
That is interesting. So there is. What do you mean there is nothing? There are other men. Stan is here. Videographer is not.
Yes,
he's not married. There's the other guys. They are not.
He's not married. That's why somebody said, ask people, are you married? Does somebody think they're married to you? Are you going home to somebody to make sure the person is really single? Because again, single is also another story. But what we are saying now in polygamy is we have, in monogamy, we have unreasonable expectations. I can't expect one person to be everything for me. It's not logical. You can't do it.
It's logical. I think it's logical. Just get.
An African man is a polygamous man. And an African man everywhere. So you go even to the States now and sit amongst the black community. It's only that they have managed to somehow, box people in. So now people have one marriage at a time. They might not necessarily have polygamous marriages, but have one marriage at a time. So I'll have you now, then the minute I meet somebody else, and then you hear them saying, it's not you, it's me. I still love you, but I love this other one. You understand? Now they have to leave you, then they go and marry this other one again. And then they realize, I can love 3. And then, so you have 3 marriages when you would have had one marriage with 3 people.
My grandfather was a polygamous man.
Mm-hmm.
And my father tried it and failed terribly. So my grandfather, of course, you go into the boma of the big mzee, Jagero Alo, and you find the wife, the first wife is on the right, and then the second wife is on the left. And then everything just worked out. People had their shambas that they were tilling, things were moving around. It was a good life in as far as what I could see.
Yes.
I don't know if there were infighting there.
Yes.
My grandmother, Masiana Nyanyairo, used to call the other one Nyeka, Nyabuaja all the time. This is Nyabuaja and Masiana. And they were pretty happy together.
Yes.
In as far as what I could see. She would go in there, and my Dana Nyabuaja would go this other side, and they were just living very, 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 very nice life. Nobody had problems. My grandfather had lots of cattle. He was trading in molasses for the Changa brewers, and life was just okay. No fighting that I saw. And then enters my father in the picture. My father, marries my mother and gets all the children. That is the 6 of us. He's an accountant in Kisumu. And he likes Kanyueso. He likes Vinyo so much. He used to come home. I remember my father had a very nice radio which played the cassettes.
Yes.
I think before that he had also the red one that plays I don't know the other one, what it's called, a turntable.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. he used to come home with the what I remember about with my father was that he used to come home with ngege from Kisumu, which is fried, and then my mother would make it really well. And we didn't have a perfect life. My father was a drunkard, and at some point he was very abusive to my mother, but he lived. And then later on, I think my father living in Kisumu and my mother living in the village, I remember something that happened. There is a day that my father came from Kisumu, and I told my father in front of everybody, "Why do you always come home? What brings you home?" And everybody just went quiet. You know, I think there was a little bit of an embarrassment there. So, but anyway, my father gets another lady in Kisumu.
Yes.
You know, and starts moving around with her for some time, and then slowly introduces him. I think I don't know the story of her. I think he was meant to be kept away from the family, but then I feel like she wanted her presence.
Yes, felt.
Yes. The second wife, and she started, you know, coming home, and then that's when trouble started. My mother went livid. And started doing crazy things, you know? And at some point, it was not possible for the lady to remain there. And slowly, she left. And I don't know what happened. She just left and went, and we never saw her again.
Yes.
And my mother bragged later that she had to leave. You know?
She had won the battle.
She had won the battle. So it's that's how much I think polygamy is detested amongst women, and women don't like the idea of having another woman around. You see, and they fight for it. Like here in the city, women fight to have a man and bring a man home. I think, like we was talking before,
yes.
You I don't know what you said. So why do you think that women hate other women joining their matrimonial home?
There's a lot that comes into play. One is religion, of course.
Yeah.
Those who have accepted Christianity want to go to heaven, and they believe if there's another woman involved or whatever, then they are not going to go to heaven. So there's Christianity. Another thing is resources. So if we are fighting over this piece of land, you know, I have 6 children, you have none, and we're going to share this piece of land with you, then there's going to be a problem. So you'll find that we are going to be fighting over resources. So generally, that would be, those would be the logical reasons. Then that becomes now these other fairy tale ones where I want my man for myself, I want us to be together forever. I've watched some movies, I've listen to some songs, and it sounds very nice. So then now I don't want that. And then you'll find people have even now put it into the context of self-esteem. Oh, you don't have self-esteem. How can you share a man? How can you? I mean, we are sharing. Somebody said Nairobi. Not only Nairobi, but there's no man that belongs to anybody. I mean, I generally believe an African man is a polygamous man. And to some extent, all human beings are not monogamous. But we're not ready for the conversation where we say even women are not necessarily monogamous. But you see, society has really tightened it for us as women, so it's really not hard for us to be as open about it as men, though even men's has been tightened, but not to the extent, because men are still polygamous. It doesn't matter whether the church accepts it or not. There are men in the church who are polygamous, and even some openly polygamous. There are sects that have been started in, like I know where I come from, we have a sect called Hera sect. It's Christian, but it is a sect from wherever that allows men to marry more than one wife. So if a man wants to marry, he's going to marry. There's no shortcut. So there are things that we fight over, and if men themselves were honest also with themselves and with the women in their lives about what side they fall on, then things would be smoother. So if a man is honest and says, I am a polygamous man, I'm not going to cheat me and you together forever, kuna mama so and so, and I'm not going to hide her, and you are also going to be here. and this is what we are going to do. It's going to be open. You're going to go home. And because you are now honest and you are leading, then you know also how you're going to provide for these women. Yeah. So remember, we said in the village, when you are going to get married, you had a piece of land. You showed the wazes, niko na hii shamba. I have these 2 cows. I have this chicken. I've built this hut is for this one. Okay, now I want a second one. Okay, where are you taking her? I have this hut, this, whatever. So it worked well then because things were equal. Of course, nothing is smooth. Nothing is 100%. There were problems. There was envy, jealousy. If this one had more sons, because at that time society expected you to have sons, so you'd find maybe the first wife has no sons, and the second wife has 3 sons. So the first wife is uneasy because she knows when people are dividing property, the one with the most sons will get property because the sons of the home are the ones who are given property. So for her, she would feel, okay, where would I go now if this one died, my girls are married? So you'd find she would be trying everything, seeing a witch doctor, doing what, trying to get a son or trying to kill these sons. If, for worse, you'd find that extreme cases, somebody trying to kill another one's son. So it didn't come without problems. Yeah. What we are saying now is, can we use this system to sort of help us, because we've opened doors to many other things because we have completely refused this system? Are there men who prefer to be monogamous? There are. Are they really monogamous? I don't know. I don't believe it. If they believe it, then I'm happy for them.
They have been told that they have to, one wife, one man.
Yes.
One man, one woman.
Yeah, but then now you find situations where people now have children in small corners, in different corners, trying to hide them. You have children growing up without fathers because your father comes once when he has lied that he has gone to Mombasa on a trip. So you see your father 2 months, every 2 months, because
I was in Mombasa last week.
Do you have a confession? Are you trying to confess?
Hey, my God.
Yeah, so you see children are growing up without fathers, without a father figure, and then you have children having a type of, behaving in a type of way. You find where people also now, somebody said that the women who are having abortions right now, you'd expect that the small girls are now big women because maybe I'm now with somebody's husband and then he decides he doesn't want the children. What are we going to do? So we are the ones who are now busy. So you find a lot of ills in society now because we have refused to accept ourselves. We have refused to accept a system that worked for us. We're not saying take it wholesale. We are saying like everything, even like that very Christianity. Cultures change, evolve. So we can take this principle, this system, how do we tweak it, and then let it work for us?
As a man, I've been listening to you with excitement. But I think my excitement will, so when you say that in the village or traditionally, you have you are having the first wife. You've given her shamba to till. She has got 3 goats. She has got 2 cows to milk. She has got chickens to slaughter when she needs some soup. And then the second wife comes, and you give her a piece of land. You give her some 3 goats, 2 cows to milk, and blah blah blah, things like that. All the things you give her. And the third wife comes, and you do the same thing. That is now the most problematic thing right now, because I am just thinking that in Nairobi, for example, you don't have that shamba.
Yes.
And I told you this, and you completely refuse to agree that it is the same thing. So I'm saying, as a man, the idea of having many women is very exciting, and this is the way I see it. Okay, in Nairobi. And you talked about responsibility,
yes.
Responsible polygamy, and I don't know whether men need to be responsible, quote unquote.
If you're not responsible, you are promiscuous. This is now we are entering that whatever. You can't say, I don't want to be responsible for women and have 20 of them.
My thought is not complete, Felgonah. Let me complete the thought.
Yes.
So I am here in Nairobi. I have a winner who is having a very nice job with the UN. She has got a red-plated car.
Yes.
She lives hapo Kilimani. Na mimi nimempenda. You know, I'm a polygamous man. And I'm saying, okay, I want to keep you in your house in Kilimani. Listen. I'm keeping you in your house in Kilimani.
You pay your rent.
Yes, pay your rent, pay your staff. Me, I come, nagazeti yangu. You know, you can cook for me a nice warm meal.
That you don't know that has come from where, and then you
It
jump
just
on
come
her.
from UN for
Jump on that and move
it's
on.
come from UN. And I have Njeri somewhere on Kiambu Road, you know, taking care of ourselves. And I have another one in Ongatarongai, taking care of ourselves. All these women are able women, and we have been fighting for women to have their voices and to have their shit together and to have their food. Okay, so Mimi as a man, I am their voice. You know, they look up to me. You know, do you why
would sleep with them? What did they look up to you for?
that probably then if you disagree, because I think that would be a perfect polygamy in this city. No. Why is it only polygamy when I have a piece of land?
No, it's not only when you have a piece of land. So this is again the other misconception. People think polygamy is just an open door for a man to have fun and sleep with as many women as he can put together, or as he can trick or agree, you know, whatever it is. But polygamy is a marriage, is a union, and in all unions there are principles to a union. Remember, I said to you, everything has a principle. The universe works on principles. Everything, and that's why I said that's why I don't subscribe to certain religion who say, let's pray, let's hope for the best, let's wait for a miracle. Because you cut trees, it doesn't rain. You plant trees, you have rain. It's that simple. So we can't cut trees and then go and have a crusade to pray. You know, we tried it. if you remember, just recently it was tried when some people went to pray for rain, and we waited for it and it didn't come. Because, simple, you plant trees. You know, everybody did science. I don't know why people behave like suddenly they didn't go to school. So same thing in a marriage, in a union. You must have a leader, a head. I know as women, we don't like hearing the man is the head of the home, because very many men have abused that position. They sit on your head. But you're not on my head to sit on it. There must be somebody who can steer the ship. All of us can't be steering the ship. You wacha tuende hivi, wacha tuende, nilisikia mama nani alituambia
women nowadays say they can even steer a speedboat. Where you're talking about a ship.
No. And let me tell you, when you find a man who knows who he is and who can lead, is the most comfortable place to be. Because we are not meant to do some of the things we are fighting to do. Some of the things we are fighting to do now in Nairobi is because of the situations that we have found ourselves in. But naturally, women would prefer, even that woman who's shouting the loudest that she's the one who wants to steer, will be so happy when she gets a man who knows what's supposed to happen. Amewapanga, he comes in and he knows this what's happening. He knows where food is coming from. You don't have to call him. You know, there are these women who sit down and you have high levels of anxiety because all the time you're on the phone. Baba nani, it's midday. Ulisema na tumba nini, hatujakula. No, baba nani has to be reminded people are eating. Ati baba nani landlord ndio huyo amekuja. He has to be reminded the landlord is coming. There are very many women, by the way, even if the man is not doing well at a certain point, because life, of course, happens, don't know that they are not paid rent, because that man will have gone long time to talk to the landlord so that he is a buffer between, you know, whatever is happening and his family. He wants his family comfortable. So if he has not paid rent, he had already gone to the landlord himself long time. These days we have men, he knows auctioneers are coming. Ametoka 5 a.m. And I just, because auctioneers don't come just like that. You had been sent letters, everything. He has been told, basi tunakuja 6. 5 he has dressed, gone. The woman suddenly finds people in the house speaking things, and you know you're exposed.
These are men who should not be polygamous.
Those are men who should not be polygamous. Now, this man, if you want a woman to respect you, even if you're marrying that winner from Red Plate, you must come with...
The winner that I'm always talking about,
yes,
the one with the red plate.
And the V8.
Yeah, the V8. Yes.
Mimi
niende tu hapo.
Hapana. This proverbial table.
Nipikiwe ile mayai
unaona hii table yetu we like asking each other, what do you bring to the table? That table, they're telling you, you must bring something to it, because that woman must respect you. At the beginning, it might sound nice when you go to that home, upate chakula ukule. kuna siku baba, somebody else is going to bring meat inside that house. Wewe ufika hapa na towel yako umefunga hivi. Umefunga towel, bare chest, you're walking at nilete sasa maji ya kunywa, and somebody else opens that door. Is the day you'll remember that it is not your house. Because women get tired. We can, once in a while it's good you treat your man, once in a while that you have picked whatever.
Women really get tired of taking care of men.
Yes, because that is not our natural state. It is not natural. It doesn't matter. It's like cutting a tree and waiting for rain. It is not natural. The first day you'll cut the tree, yes, it will rain tomorrow, and you'll think, oh, nothing happened. So today you'll come, amekupikia nyama, she went to the UN, uko nini, duty free, akanunua to champagne to nini, mnakunywa mmefurahi.
You have now agreed that we have a red-plated one.
Yeah, that's red-plated one. A day is coming when somebody else at the UN will start treating her like a woman. You are treating her like the man. You are the one who's there enjoying. There is going to be some ambassador atapitia huko to UN, alikuwa ametoka sijui wapi, and said, hey, Awinda, you are looking very nice. Yeah. Why don't I take you to lunch? Apeleke lunch and puts for her the seat, puts it back. Tomorrow she comes to the office, there's roses on the whatever. She'll come home and you look like a dirty smelling goat to her. She will look at you and say, hini takataka gani? What nonsense is this? And meanwhile, ambassador is up and down, planning Seychelles trips. This other side, she's the man. Now she's tasting.
Why are you saying she's the man?
Why you're doing nothing. She's doing all your things. How can you live in a house? Let me tell you one thing. And I think I also wrote about this one day. The worst thing a man can do is sleep in a woman's house. If you hate your life, sleep in a woman's house. And you close your eyes and you snore. You are a very risky fellow. You don't love yourself, because there is another man. How do you know there's another man paying for that house? How do you know? If it's not you? I have an uncle who used to tell me every time he got a new girlfriend, he moved her to Hamishaza. Oh, Sasa, that place is nicest, but I've got you another place that is in his name, that is in his, that he can open at any time, because there is his comfortable.
And produce a receipt.
Hata ukimpata kitembea na boxer. Hata na towel, anatembea na boxer. Nobody can knock that door. You understand? But if you're in a woman's house, see, ambassador tomorrow can decide that, hey, my friend, you're working too hard. I've paid you here 1 year rent for your apartment, and you are still working there. So one day the ambassador will shoot you. That's how people are shot in people's houses.
And they have diplomatic protection.
And they have diplomatic, yeah. So at the end of the day, even that polygamous man must be at the head. He must lead. There is nothing that now that you want to do, there are so many women everywhere, you just do whatever it is you feel like. No, it is hard work. The same way that monogamous man, the good ones are trying to keep their relationship, is the same way this guy is going to try and keep his relationship. Yeah, he still must be the head. He still must give lead. Yes, you don't have a shamba, but you can say, Awino, she's working at the UN, it's okay, but maybe she wants to do her master's, she can get a better job. Isn't it? You pay for her masters. On this other side, Njeri might say, she is opening a car yard, she's selling cars on Kiambu Road. Utafute kalon ka Equity, mwanzisha na tugari tutatu ama tuine, you tell her, sasa grow, the whatever. You must still be present in all these things. Yeah? Otherwise, it still doesn't work.
When you talked about men being polygamous and men, I was very excited. But now it looks like it's a lot of hard work, because
everything is hard work. What is easy in this life? It's only that polygamy prevents a lot of social ills. Yeah, remember we said in the traditional society, because of polygamy, we didn't have single mothers, we didn't have street children, we didn't have a lot of these problems. That we are seeing today, that we think has started today. We keep saying, oh, homosexuality, whatever, are new in African society. How do you know? I think, and I don't know, somebody can correct me, I don't know, but I think that these things are anomalies in nature. Everything in nature has like a glitch. Some people are born intersex, some people are born, there's nothing you've done to God or the devil or whatever. It's just nature's way of providing, of doing whatever it does. Nature is not perfect, they say. So what happens is now, if I'm married, I've been married as a first wife to this man, and I'm asexual, I don't like sex, But I'm a woman, and because I'm an African, my responsibility first is to family and society. Yeah, so I must have children. They expect me to have children because whoever I'm married to must have sons or daughters, whatever, so that the family goes on. We need a workforce in these societies. Many people, the more children you had, the richer you are, because you had a lot of hands on the farm and what have you, and things like that. So I've had the children, and I can't stand this man. So I go and get my sister. I know I have a sister. I can't tell my sister, hey, my friend, come to shikilia ikitu because me, I can't manage this guy. So she will come.
That is why people have got their sisters in the same marriage in
you bring your
Luoland.
sisters. Yes, you bring your sister.
Do you know if it happens in other tribes?
I don't know in other tribes, but many. But I think it does, because also if I died, my family would bring my sister to this man, because the person who would love my children would be my sister. I remember there's though he passed away, a professor who had given a story on Engage, and he said he didn't know for the longest time that his mother was actually his mother's sister, and she was brought in by force. And he was actually, I think he was trying to explain love, what love is, because that woman loved her sister so much that she married this man, an older man that she didn't love. I think maybe she had an interest somewhere, but she fulfilled her responsibility in society and came and married this man to look after the child her sister had left, because only, and that makes sense, because my sister would love my children like I would love them, as opposed to a foreign woman coming and finding children. She has no connection with these children. They would likely be mistreated more. Maybe my sister might mistreat them, but not like this other one would mistreat them.
So the reason why my theory, the reason why women don't like other women getting into the life of their man or their family, like I was telling you, is that the way marriage works now. So, for example, take a typical man or a typical woman in a church downtown, or even if they are not in a church, it's just a woman that suddenly has gone somewhere and has met a man, maybe at carnival, and he has looked at the man, and those butterflies and things like that happens, and they start going out for coffee for, like, let's say 6 months, okay? And they are in this together. This lady has decided that this is the man of my life, and this is the person that I want to live with, okay? So they meet, they start going out for coffee, and then they know each other, and then a year or two down the line, she's jittery, she's anxious that why is this man not putting a ring on it, And so finally the man comes to his senses and puts a ring on it.
No, men don't like getting married. Women make them get married.
Oh,
that's another story.
This is not going anywhere. Let me.
So we orchestrate everything, and they think it was their idea that we got married, but it was always our idea.
Oh my God! Even the pressure of getting married.
Yes.
Yeah, you see how you see now you're making it. Even you're even making my story watertight.
Yes.
You're even making my story watertight. So after 2 years, he decides to put a ring on it. And the Ginbin is big. I've called this photographer's turn to come. I've called the other guy, Swani, to come and give me, he comes with his big 4x4 car. We go there and we are in Kikuyu land and we go and pay for everything for that ratio thing. We are building something, Felgonah. We are building something great. And then we get this, we form a WhatsApp group and tell Kinaswani, Felgonah, we are having it's only 850,000. We're having a decent wedding, and everybody collects the money. And when we do a great church ceremony, or just a ceremony that is not necessarily garden ceremony. And we have taken a loan, we have taken everything, we have flown ourselves to a honeymoon in Paris.
Yes.
We have from there we have gone to Venice. We have got life that we've been building for the last 4 years.
Yes.
All right, and then we get married and we have a child and we have a family car and we have all these things that we own. We have a thing going on,
You and Mrs. Jones.
What?
You and your Mrs. Jones are
and then suddenly there's another lady that is just want to go and pick this man. You know, that's the problem.
No. Nobody picks a man. Listen, just because
Nobody picks a man.
Just because I said that men don't want to get married doesn't mean they don't want to get into relationships. A man will be okay. You know, I think if men could, if we didn't put a lot of pressure on them, we would just be dating forever. Then you have children and you just date till one day you die. But society doesn't work that way. You need, many people want you to do something. And that is why you'll see now the woman trying to, you'll give hints. And if you listen to all these things, women really give hints. So I think there's a meme where these guys are at a restaurant and then the next table, this man is proposing to his girlfriend, and this other man on this table is like, oh my God, now I have to propose because this is going to be the story for the rest of the time so that I can propose. So there's nobody who picks a man. This man has let that woman in. He might have seen something in her that he's not getting at home, and he wants that thing. Yeah, so he has let her in. So she's not coming to pick. But the minute a woman is jittery, it means at that point, she knows that man cannot afford that second wife. If you look closely, notice the super rich African men. They have how many wives? And have you ever heard the first wife saying, I'm going? Why is this man behaving? I'm gone. She will be there. Even if he marries a 19-year-old, she's quiet because she knows there's enough to go around. The biggest problem is usually that this man has no money or even he's not a leader. So you're just wondering, now what type of asylum does this man want to run here? Because he cannot even manage us here, me, him, and maybe one child. He was already going to get another woman. And usually sometimes he gets another woman. It's a woman with 3 children that are not his, or 4 children. And you're just wondering, now what are we going to eat in this place? So at that point, you're going to be very annoyed. The rich ones, you'll find now maybe, even if she's annoyed, the most she'll do is go to church to pray. Give the pastor a lot of money and to pray for her husband who will never leave that other woman until one day she accepts when they're old and they move on. And it ends there. But most of them you'll find they will not talk. Very rich men have very many women, but those women don't leave them because they have money and they know how to live. They know how to apportion wealth to whatever. But this one's over here, and that's why we say also there's a lot of promiscuous men, is he knows very well he has no money, but he has promised a winner marriage, but meanwhile he goes to a winner's house to sleep there, eat a winner's food, and he knows and he knows he can't afford a winner. He knows it. So maybe he has found a winner at a place where she's desperate. Because also women like getting desperate. She reaches 25, she starts wondering at why she's not married. She said, it's late, and somebody's busy telling her, hey, women over 30, that one, who don't need to show. At where's the patter? That one is finished, that your time is gone, you have expired. So if he finds her maybe at 35, a winner is at 35, she's desperate. That is not a polygamous man. That is a promiscuous man, because you still must be a man. It doesn't stop you from being a man. If anything, it needs you to be more of a man at that time. A polygamous man, and that's why you'll find polygamous men will have women chasing after them, because women also know responsible men. You can tell. I know,
and they're all quiet.
I know women who've married as 4th or 5th wives. And it's not a woman who was born. These are my age mates. We went through it for 4. We read Mills and Bones and Sidney Sheldon. We listened to Boys to Men and R&B
and what days of our lives.
And what days of all the nice things. But when reality hits you, you're just like, am I going to be with this idiot here who doesn't know his head from his ass, or I'm going to go into this one who at least I can see there's history. Watoto wanasomanga.
Oh my God, that's really a terrible thing to say.
No, it is not, and that is how the world works. That is nature. But if you study nature, even look at the animals, they look for the strongest male to have children with, because that's the gene that you need. That's what I was telling some people. Some of you have, the only reason you have children is because women didn't have anybody else to marry. But otherwise, if they could choose and they knew that polygamy is an option, we would have more children there.
Hey, that is serious. So I was asking you, a woman has realized, these things are difficult to, and you keep downplaying it, that women go through a lot to get a man. And then they claim that a woman is just coming from somewhere, to nibble on whatever is on offer, And so this is the problem. So what I want to ask you is, this is a woman. She has 2 children. Mm-hmm. She realizes that this man has another woman somewhere. What does she do?
Okay, so first cry, because you're going to cry. Just because finding out is not easy, and especially if you were made to believe that you are in a monogamous relationship, or if you didn't ask the right questions, or you never got to that point. Yeah, so it's going to be difficult, and I'm not going to downplay it. I'm not going to say, oh, get up and do whatever. But then there are some things that you then should work out. Is this person a responsible person? Despite having another woman, have we been eating? Have our children been going to school? He's not abusing you. He's not chasing you. I would say don't go. Try to find your healing there. Yeah, because that wanting monogamy, as I said, is what is now causing us a lot of divorce. Because if that's what he has decided, if he loves that woman and that's the woman decided to love, there's nothing you're going to do short of tying him on your bed and killing him. There's nothing. They
are saying that women are saying that he no longer loves me.
No, I don't think so. I think men, if like women, can love more than one man or one woman. Yeah. So I think he can love. It's just that maybe he needed something else that you don't have. Doesn't mean that you are inadequate. It's just that you feel one part of his life, and then maybe he needed somebody else to feel another part. Yeah. So you can't consume yourself with this woman, and that's what usually would happen, is that now you start consuming your waking moments with this woman. You are praying from morning to evening, fasting, and now you even become unbearable because, somebody like that you don't even want to live with. So if anything, you're chasing this man back to that whatever. But it's also not a competition, because before you knew, things were just happening. I think it would be, if you can find that strength, and it doesn't have to be immediately, but find the strength now to sit down and have a conversation and say, okay, so where does it all stand? How does it all work? Yeah. Again, remember, we said sometimes you might be thinking you found another woman, kumba you are the other woman. You might be thinking you found a kumba, you are the second wife. This is the first one. So sit down and have a conversation as openly as you can. And if you can't, don't at that time. Don't try to make everything make sense in one day. Have that conversation and say, okay, so how does it work? Now we are 2 women. Is she married or is she a girlfriend? Yeah, what are the plans? Yeah, so if you marry her, because you see also what we must realize about these things, and the problem also even with promiscuity and whatever, having these children all over the place. We live in Nairobi, people don't know each other. So you might have a children, I'm Luo, my children, maybe I'm this Luo man, we have Luo children, but he goes to Njeri, has some children with Njeri who now will be maybe even a different complexion or a different height or whatever. Maybe here they are tall, there they are short and fat. This other side, they are this skull, maybe got a Somali or whatever. But they're siblings. Then one day my son comes home and says, hey, Mom, I've got a girl. We have been living together for the last 5 months and she's pregnant. And it's his sister.
And the father is looking at...
and wondering, yeah. So some of these things, we can't pretend about them anymore. You'd rather a man is polygamous and openly so than promiscuous. And there are cases that has happened. Children go to study abroad. And people say blood likes each other. So this one sees this one and says, from the first time I saw you, I just felt a connection. But you are related. That was the connection you are feeling. You have decided it is butterflies and love. But it is your blood that was calling each other because you're from the same father. So what we are trying to say is let's stop demonizing polygamy. Let's go back to a situation where we are first ourselves, this thing of looking for somebody to complete you is where we start having problems. Oh, you complete me, you don't. No, they don't complete you. That's why now it becomes so difficult for you that when he has another woman, your life has fallen. There are women who've got strokes. Just discovering such a thing and she has gotten a stroke because she can't accept it, So we are saying, let's go back to this system. It's not necessarily a bad system. Let's go back and have, and be good human beings. We don't really need the law to tell us how to manage polygamy. Be a good human being. Even if it comes to resources, you as the man, you divide amongst your children fairly. Those are the things that now will manage that polygamy, and it becomes a unit that's not necessarily chaotic. Most times you find it's chaotic because the man cannot manage those people. Your wives or your wife or your children are a reflection on you. Yeah. So, there are very many people who've managed it. You have wife number 1, wife number 2, wife number 3, 4. There are children that we grew up with whose father had 4 wives. Another one, I remember even one was a Russian, I think, or something. And all those children love each other. The parents might not have loved each other, the mothers, but the children were equal and they loved each other. And it was never, this is my half brother, this is my brother. And you're saying this one is a pointy and you're trying to understand, how is this your brother? But it comes from the head.
How does this community work? Like I was asking you that. So I have a co-wife, and I know the children, and I just show up and say, calls your co-wife and tells your co-wife that I want us to go for pizza,
I don't. That would be nice. That would in some utopia that would be nice. But it doesn't have to be that. You just have to be cordial with each other, and look after children. Because I believe if you love this man, you love his children, yeah, and you'll be able to look after his children. Because also he's the one he's the backbone. You understand? He's not. There's some men. I remember somebody was saying that when they were young, one day they woke up in the morning and the father had come with some other children and just left them at their house with the mother. So I think he had fought with whichever other woman he had somewhere else. He picked his kids and just dumped them in this one and decided life must go on. Of course, it was hard for those children who were picked from somewhere, and it was also hard for these other children. These children have been dumped on you people. It was hard for that woman to love those children. That's why we said at the end of the day, it falls on the man. So as much as it sounds exciting when we are saying we don't have a problem with polygamy, we don't have a problem with it if you know what you're supposed to be doing. Not that if you think that you're just going to be picking women and children all over the place and jumping and sleeping around with anybody the way you feel like, no. There's a structure to it. Yeah, all of it falls squarely on the man. So, and that is why I'm so hard on the men saying you're either polygamous or promiscuous. Because sleeping, the one who takes the easy way out and just want any woman you see, you want to jump on any woman you see, you want to jump on, you're actually...
Some people say that the only reason why men like many women in their lives is just for sexual satisfaction, and not really to grow things and make these big boomers and do shopping in house A, do shopping in house B, do shopping in house C, do this, do that. They just and this is the indictment on polygamy. That
no, because there's something wrong with that person if you need 100 men to be, 100 women to be satisfied with, because you'll do 100 women and then you'll finish. Remember we were saying...
No, I'm just saying even if there are 4 or 5, you just want sexual satisfaction.
It's not necessarily that. Sometimes you marry the first wife. Remember we said in polygamy, sometimes you marry the first wife not because she was the love of your life. In fact, I think I said somewhere that usually the first wife was not really the love of your life. She might be a very good friend because you grew up together. You probably got married young, so you are good friends. And she's your friend and you can have certain discussions with her and you know where you have come from, the two of you, whatever. So she might be your friend, but she's not that it for you. She's not that one that you see and you become a child again and the two of you now are responsible. Then you get another one who brings out the child in you. There's no rules, there's no whatever. You can relax when you're with this one. You don't have to be, she brings out that boy in you and you are something else. So it's not necessarily sexual.
Yeah.
Sex is good because it connects you, but whatever she's giving you is not it's sex, because at the end of the day, sex is a penis in a vagina. It's a stick in a hole. It's not without these other things. That's why I find it very difficult to understand a human being who says, I just want sex, that's what I need. Because for sex to make sense, it needs other things. It comes with other things. Otherwise, it's a stick in a hole. So this person is numb. These are the people who at some point will be doing the wild things of chains being hung upside down, because you're looking to feel something, not realizing it comes, that thing you feel before you actually lay down or stand or sit on each other, whatever it is you're going to do. Yeah, something else has to bring it to that point. So for this man, he knows, and that's why you see that you don't get even the same man. Even one woman never gets the same man. Yeah, there's a time who had taken an aunt of mine who was listening to some live band somewhere, and there was an old man that we know and is respected somewhere, and he was on the dance floor with like a girl, and he was dancing and laughing, and my aunt was like, you mean this man can laugh? Because the way we know him, he's very disciplined, whatever, when he comes to his house, things are done this
point
way.
B, point A, yes. Point C, point D.
And everything is done by time, 7 p.m., what. But here he is, loose. And dancing. And I'm sure that girl, if you can tell him, but huyu mtu anakuanga hivi, she will not even understand what it is you're talking about. Yeah. So what we are saying is, you can't say you want women for sex. I think that's a very shallow, and that must be somebody with a serious problem that needs, they need to see somebody.
Very, very exciting. So we have the church, which makes their own laws.
Yes,
and a lot of these things are coming from the church, and one man, one wife. And I think this is one of the problems that now brings promiscuity, because if the church doesn't allow you as a man to have another wife, an official wife, but you want to go to the dance floor and you want to be giddy and you want to laugh, then you are not. So it's difficult for you to indict this man as a promiscuous man, but then the society takes him to that church.
Yes.
Tells him that you can't be polygamous, so you have to keep everybody. But then so I don't know how then men will deal with the church, and men will deal with the women they want to call officially their wives, because then I'm not sure if by law you can go to the Attorney General chambers and say, I want another.
Yes,
you can. Yeah.
You can. I mean, polygamy is not illegal in you can.
But illegality is not equal to legality.
No, it's not illegal. It's not immoral.
Yes.
So you can actually go to whatever. I think was it in 2014 they passed a law to allow quote unquote polygamous marriages, whatever. But there was customary law, and customary law allows polygamy. So I don't think, I think the lawyers can explain it better, but I know you can. I mean, it's not an offense, and it's not something you cannot do. Yeah. You see, I don't know why Africans have become so scared these days, because Christianity has taken on so many forms based on what people have needed at that time. You know how the Protestant church came about. It's because a certain king wanted to divorce his wife, and the Pope would not allow him to divorce his wife. So he told the Catholics to fuck off, and he started the Protestants. In my home, I don't know whether the other, whatever, I don't know about the other sects. We have a sect called Hera sect, and I'm sure it came about because they had been told these things. They said, okay, this one we like, this one we like, this one we don't like. So we have started our own. So it's Christian, but with a lot of African influence. And I know even the Haitians have a lot. They have, is it called Santa Maria or something? It's Catholic, but with a lot of their own whatever. So if your church doesn't allow you, you still want to pray to your God, or you still believe in that Christian God that you have accepted, start another one. I mean, I don't see why it is such a big story that we should do. Start another one and continue, because it has always happened. The reason why church has broken off, it's because I didn't like this, but I liked the other, I wanted to continue with it. You wouldn't allow me to. I said, okay, God is one. Thank you. I went and started and continued with my own. So I don't see why people continue sitting in a place that doesn't agree or doesn't allow you to do what you believe is natural to you, yeah, and then making you be in a position that's unnatural for you, because you'll find very many pastors have children, have other wives. I know very many women. In fact, some of them, I see them writing praise God on Facebook. I feel like telling them, stop irritating us here, or praying for who are or making noise about queers, and you are there. You're also not following what is supposedly your doctrine. Yeah, you're there, you're a third wife, you're a mpango, you have children with somebody's husband, maybe 2 of them or 3 different men. Why are you staying in a place that will make you not live authentically? Start another church. I mean, for me, I think it's that simple. They did it before it can be done. Do you
think then it is important for us to go to church and have weddings if we are going to go the polygamous way?
I don't even understand this church thing, because church, I don't know what, there's nothing like a Christian wedding. What we do now is Roman paganism. Those are things that were borrowed from some pagan somewhere. Yeah, so there's no correct way or wrong way to get married. Marriage can be, my grandmother used to say, take your things and you go and live in that man's house. You're married. Then later on, you come back and say, because now you must register it somewhere. So if you want to register it customarily, take cows. And it is registered that these people are married. You can go to the attorney general. You can even still do that church wedding that you think you really want to do.
In Luo culture, they never used to marry until you've brought the woman home. Yes. and stayed and had a few kids. At least one,
yeah, so that we are sure that she's not barren. those were the problems. That was their way of doing things. You see, in all tradition, there was a reason for something. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. That's what my grandmother used to say. She couldn't understand when, I remember a relative was saying that, my grandma would always ask her, you're not yet married? That, no, I'm waiting for God to give me. Hey, and she'd ask, when God gives people a husband, take your things. Have you found a man? Go to that man's house and start staying there.
Start cooking sukuma wiki.
Yes, and that's what it used to be in Louis the detail. Go and cook. Go there and cook, and you're married, and still like that. So these things, I believe the law is not, we're not here for the law is here for us. So bend it and whatever it, even if you have decided to take up Christianity, you're still an African. Well, how come why aren't you putting your mark on that Christianity? Everybody else has. The white man who came here with it has put their mark, gave you a white dress and told you this is the way it's supposed to be done. It wasn't. There's nothing Christian about walking down the aisle in a white dress with bridesmaids or whatever. If you read the history of where that comes from, you might not want to do it. Yeah. So why aren't Africans putting their stamp on it, or why did they stop? There are very few people who put their stamp on it, and those ones are shunned upon. I'm sure if you see those people of our village sect praying, you'll be like, hey, who are these people? Yeah. But put your stamp on it. Yeah, it's not wrong. It's not.
I don't know whether it is in this second part that we talked about how to approach this. In the last one, did we talk about how to approach this? Like asking questions about if before you marry somebody, have a proper conversation.
Pertinent questions, because usually what I see is that people don't ask questions. We just hope for the best. Remember what we are calling it? Toxic positivity. We're just positive. We are hopeful that because we don't want to say quote negative things in case they come true. But if you are dating to marry, if you are with this person because you want to marry them, you must be able to ask questions. And real questions. Beyond, how many children do you want to marry? Do you think we will go to Morocco on holiday? Ask real questions. What are your beliefs? What does marriage look like to you? Are you somebody who will, because there are people actually who will stay with one wife. But even those people, when you ask them questions later on, when they're older, they'll tell you at some point he had an affair or she had an affair or whatever. So those are questions to ask so that you're not surprised later on. Men shouldn't be greedy. Say the truth. Don't say that if I tell her I want another wife, she's going to run away. Because she's not then your wife. Why do you want to force her to be in a situation that she can't manage? There are, as much as there are women who cannot accept polygamy, there are those who can. Yeah. So find your people. Stop creating monsters, because now you marry this one, you cheat on your mind forever, whatever. You've put her in your house. The day she finds there's somebody else, she wants to kill you, or she even kills you, or she kills herself, or she kills herself and your children. you create things that don't necessarily have to be there. So let's ask real questions. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but you'd rather ask those uncomfortable questions, date 2, date 3, than wait for 2 big-headed children there, and then you start asking, and then you start telling her, unajua nitakuletea bibi mwingine.
Thank you very much, Felgonah, for this wonderful conversation. Take 2,
Polygamy
we didn't talk about you as you are a writer.
Yes, I am.
You've written for The Star.
Yes.
You've written for a couple of other, and you've got a blog that you run.
Yes.
And you told me that you want to start a podcast. You told me that you also having 4 children.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking from a point of understanding.
I would like to believe so. I'd like to believe so. I write quite a bit. I have taken to writing about us, about people, about social issues. That's what I concentrate on. Somebody said that, when will you start writing about serious things? And I'm like, you see, you people don't take relationships seriously. That's why you're messing the whole country up.
Yeah.
Because if you took your relationship seriously, your family seriously, then you would take a whole country seriously. Yeah. So yes, I write. I have 2 books out.
What are their names?
One is Things I Wish They Told Me, How to Have a Relationship with an African Man. And there's one, Adua is Dating in Nairobi. So that's like a comic book.
What is the synopsis of how to have a relationship with an African man? Probably we should have another sit down. Do you have a lot to say about it?
Yes, I think an African man is a unique being. I think that as African women, especially women born in the 70s, going down, we've been given, I want to call it a rider, I want to call it a manual that doesn't make any sense, that has caused us a lot of tears, because we have generally been made to believe that the relationship is up to us. And they have backed it up with the Bible verses. A wise woman builds a house, a foolish one puts it down with her hands.
Hey, I like that one.
It's a very bad.
I like that one. It's my favorite verse.
It must have been written, of course it was written by a man. But, so we have not enjoyed relationships, because for us, relationships have been a situation where we are fighting. And it's fighting, and that's why you see a woman, you're all over the man like this. It has put too much responsibility on us to be everything for this man when we can't be. Yeah, so why don't you relax and let somebody else also take some part? I mean, it's not the worst thing that can happen to you. So what has happened is we've gotten the short end of the stick. So in that book, basically saying how to enjoy your life. So many people think when they read the book, they think, oh, I'm going to tell women how to look after a man, cook for him, have sex with him. No. I'm telling you mostly how to be with yourself, how to accept yourself, how to accept reality and not call it negativity. And then that way, because if you appear whole, then you are more likely to enjoy life, not even just a relationship. Yeah.
Thank you, Felgonah. We wrap this up with the camera pointing at me. I will bring you to another podcast so that we talk about how to take care of an African man.
Not take care, how to enjoy. We're not taking care of them, they're grown-ups.
Shida iko mingi Kenya.
We don't take care of grown-ups.
People of the internet, thank you very much for tuning in to this episode. Polygamy and divorce and promiscuity. I hope you liked it. And if you did like it, please comment on it. Tell us what you think about this. Tell us what you would say about promiscuity, about polygamy, and about monogamy. You can also subscribe to the channel. It's a very new channel and I'm growing it, and I would love to grow it together with you. So subscribing and then hitting on that notification bell means that whenever an episode is out, you will get it. Until another bold conversation, bye for now.